your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Benefit. At this next level of your enlightenment, you will realize that you have actually gained some benefit from the situation. While at first you won't be able to see it, with some thought you will become aware of it. There is nothing that can happen in the universe that is only good or only bad. We live in a relative reality in that whenever we mark a line in the sand, there is always a place behind it that is better or a place in front of it that is worse. That is the nature of relativity. Everything can be compared to something else, and it will always be better than one thing and worse than another. So in that case, nothing is good or bad by itself. What may be unacceptable in one culture may be the norm in another. Killing someone may be wrong in one circumstance, but right in another when you're saving a life. You can never pin down good or bad. Even if someone dies, they've only exited the reality game on planet Earth, only to return in another experience. If you let these losses make you feel shorted or lacking, then you will only attract more of the same. If you let yourself feel unhappy because of some situation, then you will only see unhappy things and elicit unhappy results from your life. Why do you want that? As you know, what we are feeling and the meanings we hold go out to the universe and elicits into our experience more things like it. Everywhere we look, we notice more of it. That is just the normal result of resonance, the matchmaker of the universe. So if we think that the situation caused a loss in some way, then we will only elicit information that matches that point of view. We can only see how it is bad and what it caused. That is just the wonderful way the universe works. I say that it is wonderful because by the same power of resonance, if we choose to think of the situation as something good that has possibly happened, then we will begin to see all the great things that have resulted from the experience. Did you learn something? Are you more careful about these kinds of things? Do you now teach a class about it? Did you write a book on it? Did it cause you to move and now you're happier than you've ever been? Due to the reality of relativity, there are lots of wonderful things that have happened or that have benefited you as a result of the event. I have no question about it. It is a fact. It is a law of nature that something good has to happen because you can't have one without the other. Napoleon Hill, the author of the famous book Think and Grow Rich, said that within every problem there is a seed of equal or greater benefit. Video example: overcoming adversity and defeat. What is this video about? In this next video example, Napoleon Hill recites a portion of his book, Think and Grow Rich. This famous book was the distillation of information that he had personally obtained from interviewing the 500 most successful and famous people of his day. These included such names as Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and more. From this wealth of information, he created the 17 principles of success. One of his principles is that, quote, every adversity has the seed of an equal and opposite benefit, unquote. This means no matter how big a problem is, it has a benefit within it that is equally big. Napoleon Hill says that, quote, your positive mental attitude is the only way you can convert failures and adversities into assets, unquote. He also says that, quote, the Creator very wisely provided everyone with the means for converting these experiences into benefits of a priceless value. The means being our privilege of maintaining and directing a positive mental attitude." Unquote. He says to practice looking for that seed of equal or greater benefit in every unpleasant situation you have. In Napoleon's own words, this is how he describes it.
"In this visit, I have brought you what may be a surprise or even a shock by introducing this great principle of profiting by adversity. If you are ready for this principle, you will embrace it at once, and never again, as long as you live, will you brood over unpleasant experiences without knowing full well that your efforts could be better employed by searching for that seed of an equivalent benefit which is available in those experiences. Now, before I conclude this visit, I shall give you this assignment which, if you carry it out sincerely, may well bring you a new birth of opportunity such as you never dreamed of experiencing. Go back into your past experiences, study each adversity and failure you may have experienced, and look for that seed of an equivalent benefit you had not before discovered, and you may find yourself richer than you believed yourself to be. And now, until our next visit, just remember, nothing can be called failure until you accept it as such."
Napoleon gives a few examples of this principle, starting with Milo C. Jones of Wisconsin. Milo had a farm and was struck down with double paralysis. He was unable to continue his work on the farm in his usual way. However, he still had the use of his mind, and he developed a brand new sausage that was so popular that it made him a multimillionaire. Napoleon says, quote, "Before he was hardly making a living. When he found the seed of an equal benefit that compensated him for losing the use of his body, which ended up yielding him a huge fortune." Unquote. He gives another example of Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was stricken with polio in the prime of his life, costing him the use of his legs. However, he didn't feel sorry for himself and quit, but instead he went on to become the President of the United States. He says that it's through the challenge of these adversities that you will find the seed of the equal or greater benefit that will propel you to success greater than you would have ever had if the adversity had never happened. He relates a personal story from when he was only 8 years old. He had lost his mother, which he says is probably the most traumatic experience that one could ever have, especially at such a young age. Normally, with this kind of loss, it is thought to have no possible benefits. He says that even in the loss of loved ones, there is always a seed of equal or greater benefit for those who look for it. Despite Napoleon's terrible loss, he was still able to find a seed of an equal or greater benefit as a result of this experience. He met one of the most wonderful persons he had ever known when his father brought home his new mother. His new mother came into his life and encouraged him to succeed and prepared him for the experiences he was to have when he met Andrew Carnegie. It was a result of this meeting and his subsequent actions that brought into being his books on how to be successful in experiencing a fulfilling life. If it weren't for his mother dying, he would never have written those wonderful books that have helped millions of people worldwide. He says that nothing is so bad or so unpleasant that it can't yield some benefit if we keep a positive mental attitude toward the experience and make it a habit to always look for that equal benefit. What does this example show, and what does it mean? Good advice is timeless. This is one of his most remembered and important principles. He came to develop these principles after interviewing the 500 most successful people of his day. It was only after comparing his notes that he found the similarities between them and discovered the common traits between all of these successful people.
For best results, pause this video at this point here, and watch the video example mentioned in the segment. The links are located in the book chapter, and at the end of the book. If you are watching this online, you will find the link for this video example listed in the notes section. Then, after watching the associated video example, continue watching this video from here. To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 11, segment number 12. Let your quest for knowing continue.